Samuel Amissah, remember that name, because by the end of this summer, every single Manchester United supporter on this planet is going to know exactly who he is. Welcome to Mike MUFC Update. I'm Mike. Before we go any further, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications, like this video, drop a comment below telling me what you think about this story. And stay with me until the very end, because I have got a full breakdown of everything you need to know about this transfer race. What it means for Manchester United, why this signing could be one of the smartest pieces of business this club does all summer, and why the stakes of getting this one right are enormous. Let us get into it. It is March 6th, 2026. Manchester United sit third in the Premier League under Michael Carrick. The rebuild is ongoing, the hunger is real. And right now, behind the scenes, this football club is moving on. A player who has the potential to become one of the finest defenders produced in England in the last decade. His name is Samuel Amisar. He is 18 years old. He plays for Fulham. He is English. He can play centre-back. He can play full-back. He can drop into defensive midfield. And here is the most important detail of this entire story. His contract at Craven Cottage expires in June 2026. 3 months, that is all that separates this club from a player who has Premier League clubs queuing around the block to sign him. And Manchester United are right in the middle of that queue. Let me give you the full picture on this young man, because the story of how Samuel Amissah arrived at this point is genuinely fascinating. And it tells you everything about the kind of character and talent we are dealing with. Amissah originally came through at Brentford. When the Bees made the painful decision to close their academy, this young defender needed a new home. Fulham moved quickly. They recognised something in him that not every club saw at that stage. He arrived at Craven Cottage, settled into their development setup, and within a very short period of time, it became obvious to everyone inside that building that they had something genuinely special on their hands. In May 2024, Fulham handed him his first professional contract. That was the moment the club tied their colours to the mast and said, "This boy is going places," and they were absolutely right. Through the current season, Amissah has been a key figure for Fulham's under-21 side in Premier League 2. His performances for the young Cottagers have been outstanding. He has been commanding in the air, he has been composed in possession, he has shown leadership qualities that you simply do not see in a teenager at that level. Fulham sit just 2 points behind Chelsea in the Premier League, 2 table. This young man has been central to everything good about that team. But it did not stop there. Marco Silva noticed, and when a manager of Marco Silva's experience and quality notices a teenager in the youth setup, you take that seriously. Amissah was promoted to the senior matchday squad and named on the first team bench 7 times across all competitions this season. 7 times, 7 occasions where Marco Silva looked at his squad and decided this 18-year-old deserved to be in that group. He was on the bench for Premier League fixtures against Newcastle United, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Leeds United. He was included for Fulham's FA Cup victory over Middlesbrough. He was there for their EFL Cup tie against Wycombe Wanderers. Has he played? Not yet, but that is not the point. The point is that a senior Premier League manager looked at this boy and said, "I want him in my group." That is an enormous statement of faith. And then the Telegraph broke the story on March 5th. Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea are all monitoring his situation. Ajax, Juventus, and Marseille are watching from Europe. And the reason everyone is paying attention right now, the reason the phones have been ringing across European football, is that contract expiry, June 2026, the clock is ticking. Now, let me talk about what this means for Manchester United specifically. And because I have seen some people online suggest that United chasing an 18-year-old who has not even made his senior debut is a strange priority. I want to address that directly because those people are missing the point entirely. This is not about right now. This is about what happens in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, when Samuel Amissah is 21, 22 years old, and the clubs who invested in him early are reaping the rewards of that patience. Look at what Michael Carrick is building at this football club. He has come in and stabilised things after a difficult period. He is working with a group of players that includes genuine quality. Bruno Fernandes, Kobbie Mainoo, Lisandro Martinez, Matthijs de Ligt, Matthijs Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, Amad Diallo, Benjamin Sesko. There is real talent in this squad, but Carrick is also acutely aware that sustaining success at Manchester United requires a pipeline. It requires having players coming through at every level who are capable of stepping up when the moment demands it. Samuel Amissah fits that model perfectly. His versatility is the thing that excites me most as a United supporter. He can play centre-back, which is his natural position, and he plays it with maturity and intelligence beyond his years. But he can also operate at fullback, and he can sit in defensive midfield. In the modern game, that kind of positional flexibility is genuinely priceless. You are not just signing a centre-back, you are signing a defensive asset who can cover multiple positions across the back line and into the midfield. The value of that in a squad across a full season, including cup competitions, European campaigns, and the brutal demands of the Premier League, cannot be overstated. There is also a financial dimension to this story that I want United supporters to fully understand, because it is crucial. Because Amissah is an 18-year-old moving between English clubs. A transfer tribunal will set the compensation fee. That is the mechanism. Fulham will not simply lose him for nothing. There will be a fee determined through that process. However, if Amissah chooses to move to a European club, Ajax, Juventus, Marseille, anyone outside England, the compensation structure changes dramatically, and Fulham would likely receive significantly less. That creates a very interesting dynamic from a financial standpoint. United and the other English clubs have to be willing to pay whatever tribunal sets. From Fulham's perspective, they would obviously prefer their player to stay in England, where the compensation is higher. From Amissah's perspective, he has a decision to make about what is best for his development and his career, not just his bank account. And this is where Manchester United's pitch becomes absolutely critical. Because when you sit across the table from an 18-year-old English defender with the world at his feet, you have to make him believe that your club is the right environment for him to grow, to develop, and to eventually make that step into consistent first-team football. What can United offer? They can offer one of the most iconic clubs in world football. They can offer training facilities at Carrington that are among the finest in Europe. They can offer the experience of competing for trophies, for Premier League glory, for domestic cup success. They can offer an environment where young players have genuinely been given chances, and we will come back to that in a moment, because this is where the story gets really personal for this football club. Manchester United have previous on this when Chido Obi arrived from Arsenal in September 2024. There were plenty of people who questioned whether it was the right move for the boy, whether a young forward at that age could genuinely handle the weight of expectation at a club like United. And what happened? He made it. He has made senior appearances for the first team. He is part of Carrick's plans. He is proving every single doubter wrong. When Aidan Heaven joined from Arsenal in February 2025, another one they took from North London, by the way, which I am sure still stings at the Emirates, the same questions were asked. Can this boy handle the pressure? Can he develop at this level? And again, the answer has been a resounding yes. Heaven has made 640 minutes of senior football for Manchester United this season. He has contributed, he has grown, he has shown that this club's environment is capable of producing and nurturing young defensive talent. That is the track record United can point to. That is the evidence they can put in front of Samuel Amissah and his representatives when they have that conversation. We did this with Chido. We did this with Aidan. We could do this with you. That is a powerful message. And it is a message backed up by real, verifiable, recent history. Now, let me be honest with you, because on this channel, we do not hype things up without being straight about the challenges. And the challenge here is real. The competition for Samuel Amissah is fierce. Arsenal are in this race. Arsenal, who are currently leading the Premier League and playing some of the most attractive football in England this season. If you are an 18-year-old English defender, playing for Arsenal is not exactly an unappealing proposition. Mikel Arteta's track record with young players is exceptional. The way he develops technical defenders, the way he builds footballers who understand the game at a deep tactical level, that is going to be a compelling pitch. Chelsea are also in this race. Chelsea, who have spent an extraordinary amount of money over the last several years building what they hope will be a dynasty. They have a young squad, they have financial resources, and they have a development pathway that they will present convincingly to any teenage talent in England right now. And then there is Europe. Ajax have a legendary reputation for developing young defenders. Think of the players they have produced over the decades. Think of the environment they create. If Samuel Amissah has ambitions of playing at the very highest level, and he clearly does, then the Ajax pitch is going to be serious. Juventus bring the prestige of one of the most famous clubs in world football. Marseille offer the intensity of Ligue 1, the passion of one of France's greatest clubs, and the promise of regular football in a competitive environment. This is not a straightforward race. United are going to have to be at their absolute best in terms of their presentation, their project, their personal commitment to this young man's development. But I want to come back to something, and I want to drive this point home, because I think it is the single most important factor in this entire transfer story. Ian Broomfield, Manchester United appointed Ian Broomfield earlier this year in a specific recruitment advisory role focused on identifying teenage talent, teenagers capable of making the transition into first-team football. That appointment was not made by accident. That appointment was made because this club recognised that finding the next Chido, the next Aiden Heaven, the next player who can come through the door young and develop into a genuine senior contributor is absolutely central to the long-term project. Samuel Amissah fits that mandate precisely. Broomfield and the recruitment team at Carrington have clearly identified this player as someone who ticks every box. English, versatile, 18 years old, technically excellent, positionally intelligent, leadership qualities already evidenced at youth level, having captained England at the Under-17 European Championships quarter-final stage. Currently training in a Premier League environment, already trusted enough by a senior Premier League manager to be included in matchday squads repeatedly. Every single criterion that the new United recruitment approach is built around. Samuel Amissah meets, let me paint you a picture of what the next 18 months could look like if United get this right. Amissah arrives at Carrington in the summer of 2026. He comes into an environment where Aiden Heaven has already paved the way, already shown a young English defender from a London club that Manchester United is the right place to grow. He trains every day alongside Matthijs de Ligt. He watches how Lisandro Martinez prepares, competes and leads from the back. He absorbs everything around him. He plays regularly for United's development squad. He earns his opportunity in cup competitions. By January 2027, at 19 years old, Michael Carrick, or whoever is in the dugout at Old Trafford at that point, looks at this young man and decides he is ready for his first senior minutes. That is not fantasy. That is exactly the pathway that United are building. That is the template that Chido Obi and Aiden Heaven have already laid down. And if Samuel Amissah follows that path, if he develops the way his talent and his mentality suggest then by the time he is 22, 23 years old, Manchester United could have one of the finest young English centre-backs in the Premier League on a long-term contract, fully embedded in their culture, fully committed to the project. The long-term value of that is incalculable. There is one more dimension to this story that I have not touched on yet, and I think it matters. England eligibility. Samuel Amissah is English. He is eligible for Ghana internationally as well, but he has represented England at youth level. He captained England under-17s. He is on the radar of the England youth setup at under-19 level. If he continues to develop at the rate he is currently developing, there is a very real conversation to be had about his senior England future down the line. For Manchester United, having an English player in the spine of your defence, a genuine homegrown talent, not one manufactured through the homegrown qualification rules, but a real English centre-back who came through the game here, who understands this football culture, who can grow into a leader for club and country that matters. That matters commercially, it matters culturally, and it matters in terms of the identity that this club is trying to re-establish in the rebuild era. This is not just a transfer, this is a statement about the kind of club Manchester United wants to be. Right now, the race is open. Nothing is decided. No contract has been signed. Amissah is weighing his options. His representatives are listening to pitches from across England and across Europe, and Fulham are doing everything they possibly can to convince their young defender to stay at Craven Cottage and sign a new deal. But the Telegraph has confirmed this. United are in, Arsenal are in, Chelsea are in, Ajax, Juventus and Marseille are watching, and the expiry of that contract means that by the summer, a decision will have been made. I want it to be Manchester United. I genuinely believe the project at this club, the pathway that Carrick is building, the precedent set by Chido Obi and Aidan Heaven, the appointment of Ian Broomfield, the culture being created at Carrington right now, all of it points to this being the right environment for Samuel Amissah. But we have to get in the room, we have to make the pitch, we have to show this young man that his future is at Old Trafford. And if we do that, if we make the case properly and we win this race, then 3 or 4 years from now, we are going to look back at March 2026 and say that was the moment Manchester United identified and secured one of the finest defensive talents in English football. That is the full breakdown. Samuel Amisar, 18 years old, contract expiring in June. Manchester United, Arsenal and Chelsea in domestic competition. Ajax, Juventus and Marseille. Watching from Europe, a young man with the world at his feet and a decision that could shape the future of his career. Stay locked onto this story. The moment there is a development, I will be right here with the full update. If you found this breakdown valuable, and I hope you did, please subscribe to Mike MUFC Update right now. If you have not already, hit that like button, drop a comment below. Tell me, do you think United win this race? Do you think Arsenal or Chelsea sneak in, or does he go abroad? Let me know. The debate starts in the comments. I am Mike. This is Mike MUFC Update. United always